shooting events. Last week we gave 10 tips about how to improve your street photography, and events was one of the tips. So we thought we would expand on it a little bit. And events can be a procession, a demonstration, a protest, or simply an event. So what are your thoughts about it?
I think shooting events is probably the easiest way for someone starting out, and also for very experienced photographers, to actually go out and get great shots and rewarding shots pretty easily. You know, it's not like just pure street photography where you're, if you like, you're hunting a lot of the time, or you're fishing and whatever. This way you're going out to an event where there's lots of things going to be happening, there's lots of people going to be interacting with each other, and so automatically you've got these things going on that you can photograph. And you know, we've done a little list of sort of events, but fun fairs, for example, they're great events to go and photograph. They're on throughout the summer, and you'll find them in every sort of village really. But go along and start thinking, right, how do I capture 4 or 5 shots if I want to tell a little story about what's going on at the fun fair? And you know, just set yourself some little challenges here. So you could think, right, I need to get a couple of portraits, not necessarily pose portraits, you know, portraits that could be of people waiting, or people, you know, who are serving, people who are in the kiosks taking the money, etc. Maybe a couple of shots, that detail shots, you know, hands. It could be even just like stalls, etc. With people in the background, and then just maybe a scene setting shot. And through those 4 or 5 shots, you've actually told the story of the fun fair. Yeah, you can just tell your experience of the fun fair. And expanding a bit on that, a country fair, or you know, and we have so many of those as well during the summer. You just look for one near you and try to visit it. And again, you can decide to tell a bit of a story, or you can decide to simply start shooting interactions, start shooting conversations, people sitting and having a meal, and the stalls, again, the stall owners, the interactions between the stall owners and the buyer. There is so many things to shoot, and they might have a dog show, they might have some animals, they might have some events happening there. There is so much that can be shot at these. Well, these country fairs, they do have a lot of pursuits going on, because that's kind of what it's about. It's about what goes on in the country, and then these other stalls are around them, you know, selling food or selling country wares, etc.
And at times you even see a craftsman going about the craft itself. That can be a very interesting thing to do.
And I know you've been to country fairs, and you've actually approached these artisans and said, can I come and spend half a day with you?
Yeah,
so you can build a little project from that as well.
Absolutely.
But you know, even though you're at the country fair, still look for these things, the elements to make a great photograph, like seeing the nose, you know, composition, make sure the background is nice and clean or interesting, to make the picture sort of stand out and go up that sort of level.
Absolutely.
But I think parades is another great one. And it's one of my favourites. You know, look for parades, and one of the parades I've been photographing is in Sicily, in Trapani, and it always happens at Easter, because it's a religious thing, or it's something that's been handed down from years and years and years, so that it's part of their culture. And these are really, really amazing events to photograph.
And in this case, I think there is something that is fundamental about the parades, that you can choose to shoot the parade itself, but you can choose to shoot the spectators of the parade. And the two things can be really, really interesting, and especially if you start getting both of them in the same shot. So the actual expression of the person doing the parade and the expression of the spectator, and you know, trying to get some, again, the moment, the gaze that meets, things like this, they can be really interesting parts of it.
I think it's really important with a parade, you know, to do both sides, because again, you can tell a little document, you can make a little documentary on this, or a little slideshow afterwards of 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 images that tells a story about the parade, or the whatever's happening. And if you go back there sort of year after year after year, you start building up a nice portfolio, which I've managed to do with Trapani. And you just have a look at them. You'll see exactly what I mean. There's a big sort of body of work there now. I've been going there for like 5 or 6 years. But what other sorts of events do you think are worth going to, Flavio?
Well, I would say concerts, festivals. Concerts a bit less, but festivals are great to go there. And I would say that they are different from country fairs, with which they can have quite a few points in common, like the stalls, like the food places, etc. But the big thing about the festivals, apart from the camping sites, which can be there or not, is the fact that you have whole groups of people all looking in the same direction, all looking at the show going on. And you can start selecting groups of people, you can start selecting families, interactions, different things. There can be so much that you can shoot in those events.
And some of these events, I mean, I was due to photograph a festival this year, and unfortunately we couldn't make it because some other things would have popped up. But I contacted the festival organizer and I said, look, I'm a photographer, I do documentary work, I'd love to come and photograph the event, I'm happy to share all the pictures with you. And they just said, should we send you a ticket? And this ticket was valued at like £100. So, just sort of think about that, and it lets you sort of get into these places as a photographer, as long as you're prepared to sort of share your work. But I definitely agree, festival is better than concert.
Yeah, but probably this kind of approach, you can do it because you can back it up with a good portfolio behind you. If you're just a complete beginner, you don't have any portfolio, at times you might be refused for that reason. But you never know. It's worth a try.
We did it. We did it again, and I've just remembered it. We did it to the UK Coffee Festival. Up in Shoreditch in London, and I approached them. And I said, look, I'd love to come along. I'm really interested in coffee. I'd love to photograph the event, what's going on. How do I get in? And they said, well, we can send you a couple of tickets. And that was 4 years ago. And now every year they just send me an invite. If I want to photograph it. And we've been back since, and it's a great day out, and you get great coffee.
Absolutely. And you can get good shots again.
You can.
On the same note about asking permission, I know you did the same thing for Trapani for the parade. When I went to Bolivia to photograph the carnival, a big advantage in photographing these parades is to be able to be in the street, in the middle of the parade to shoot. And to do that, we obtained press passes. And having the press pass was fantastic because you were allowed to be where other photographers wouldn't normally be. So in my case, for example, I was able to shoot the parade straight on. I could shoot it from the side. I could shoot the interaction between the parade people, the musicians that were. I remember a musician. I'll put a picture on the musician shaking hands with one of the spectators. Small things like this that don't necessarily make the shot of the year, but they tell the story. They tell what's happening in there. But and I think that is a great thing to try to do.
But getting these inside lines, like the parades being on the inside, or going to the coffee exhibition and being able to walk around freely. You just need to do a bit of research, and you need to contact people up front, and need to think about what you want to do and what you're going to offer them. And most people are, if you're prepared to give the photographs to them, they're very receptive to this.
Absolutely.
You don't have to sort of do it for free afterwards. You can actually build up contacts there. And again, you often have people then saying, well, can you do some photographs for us? And we've done a few jobs where artisans or artists have just said, we need some pictures for our portfolio. Can you come and can you do this for us? So lots and lots of tips there. Lots of great ideas. I hope you've got something from it, and we'd love to hear feedback from you about what shows you're going to, and what sort of shots you've got at some of these sort of craft fairs or shows, etc. Give us a big thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. goodbye again from Mark and Flavio.
Goodbye.